Welcome back to the Retro Sports Gamer channel. It's your boy, Green Majik. Continuing the series, Jam Rules with Green Majik. Today we are wrapping up the videos of NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo. And before I go any further, I'm going to pop out the chat here. Definitely my favorite version of NBA Jam on console. In my estimation, it just has the most depth out of all the games. It's more often that you'll see there being tournaments of NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Sega Genesis, and that's a fine game. In my estimation, this game has the most depth. Today we are breaking down the top 18 to 27 teams. In other words, the worst teams in the game. We start with in Tier 4 with the Detroit Basketball Pistons. First, we're going to turn on that tournament mode. I'm going to turn the tag mode on. Going head-to-head and locking in our sign-in, which is JRM, and doing that so that not only am I playing as all the teams in this playthrough, I'm playing against all the teams as well. So I played through the first 17 teams, and as you can see, those are the teams I have not defeated, and these teams, for the most part, are going to be the better teams in the game. So as I'm playing with the worst teams, I'm playing against the better teams. So let's take a look at the Detroit Pistons. They have some promise, but a bit of a frustrating team because they just don't have a lot of star power, which is what puts them in Tier 4. We've got the duo Miller and Mills, Terry Mills and Oliver Miller. Decent stats. We've got both of them, and this is one of the funny things about the rosters in this game is these guys have identical statistics. I don't know if that must have been some kind of error. I don't know if one of them actually has different attributes. Honestly, Terry Mills to me feels like a bit of a better player, but that's probably just in my own head. So taking their attributes at face value, we got a 7 speed, 6 power for both, which is pretty solid. Offense, decent players with 6 3-pointers and 6 dunks, which means they'll land a lot of dunks against non-elite defenders, and they will make some threes, especially if they're on fire. Defense, 5 steal, 7 blocks, so they can kind of hold their own on the defensive side of things, but the main thing is that they have decent baseline statistics. I call it a 7 speed and 6 power. Off the bench, we've got Joe Dumars, who is actually an all-star in the 93-94 season, I believe, but he's just not given the attributes here. He's got the 8 speed and is nice, that 3 power, not very good. It's actually decent for a point guard, though. He's got 7 on threes and 0 on dunks, so not a big inside game. You don't want him taking it to the hole very often. But that 8 speed, 7 3-pointer combination is pretty nice. So, and then not a good defender. A very low steal for a point guard with 4, and then 2 on block. So not a great defender. He's got some speed, so he's decent as a drone, but not as pesky as some other point guards. Like we look at Muggsy Bogues with that 9 steal. We look at Mark Price with that 9 steal. We look at John Stockton with that 9 steal. So unfortunately, Joe Dumars is probably a Tier 4 player. Doesn't give you a whole lot. And then we have Miller and Mills with that 7-6 ability, which is pretty decent. So what I'm going to try to do is try to get Dumar's involved more than I would normally. Going to try to get some threes with him, and a great pass by Terry Mills there. Gonna try to get some threes going with him, especially if I'm open like that. He will give me some threes. He's just pretty tough to play defense with. That lack of power, and he doesn't have that height, so he is not going to get you a lot of rebounds and so forth. But he can make some threes, so we'll try to do that. Especially an elite. Ooh, Mills with a nice block there. Especially with an elite player like Derek Coleman, Dumars just doesn't have what it takes really to play that, with that inside presence. And I see Mort in the chat there, Tecmo101, saying, let me get the word out on social media. Please do, man. Please spread the word. I did a post on Discord, but that only goes to so many people. So I'm starting with Tier 4 more with Detroit Basketball Pistons. Going to try to get Dumars involved here. He's not a great player. Nets a pretty good team, but we're gonna see what he can do for us. There we have Coleman just rejecting his face. Coleman definitely a Tier 1 player. I would even put him in the S tier, top 5 player in the game. Dumar is really tough to play D with, but we're gonna stick it out. Looks like I got a little bit of a speed boost here. And I'm still knocking down those threes. Dumars is a 7 on threes, so he will give you some of those.
Blaze it up.
I just don't got that inside presence. Ooh, Coleman blocking me again.
At the buzzer.
Woo! Tried to goaltend that last second, which the game allows you to do. You get a free goaltend after the horn goes off, but Dumar is just too short. He could not get it done. Plug in here. Make sure we got that power going. Retro Sports Gamer saying Knicks are Tier 1, changed my mind. Dude, Oakley's slow, man. We got, off the top of my head, I don't have those detailed attributes in front of me, but Starks is good, doesn't have power. Oakley has power, he doesn't have speed. If you can do a lot with Ewing, you'll do great, but I'll take the Sonics over the Knicks. I'll definitely take the not definitely, but I would take Nets over the Knicks. Some days that's a toss-up. Yeah, man, they're good. Would you take the Knicks over the Magic? Would you take the Knicks over the Hawks? Like, that's the debate. I wouldn't. But those are good matchups. Those are valid matchups. So we're gonna stick with Dumars. Try to get a few more threes with him. He's a little slowed down with his 3 injuries. We're gonna put in Miller as Madrone. Second half, I'm gonna put in some Oliver Miller, and I'm gonna play some more standard jam, which is basically hero ball with the one player. But I'm gonna try to give Dumars his due. He was an All-Star in '93-'94 season. Nice push by Oliver Miller to get me open. You want that Knicks Sonics matchup, man? That's one of the classic matchups in both versions of TE. But man, for me, it's Schrempf over Oakley. Do you want Schrempf or do you want Oakley? You know what I'm saying? And I'll take Schrempf. Is just a beautiful ass man. But that's definitely a preference thing. And Kemp is just a little bit more dominant than Ewing. That's the other thing. Don't have the attributes in front of me, but Kemp is like a little bit faster, I think. I think Kemp is like 8 speed, 8 power, and Ewing is like 7 speed, 8 power. You know, not a huge difference, but it's there. So yeah, the only thing is Starks is a great 3-point shooter, but he's not as easy to play defense with as Shrimp and Kemp. You know, so solid matchup. There's a reason we see that matchup a lot. You know, in these tournaments. Coleman with a weird little thing there. Knicks definitely a great team in the 90s. Sonic's another great franchise in the 90s. You're saying you'll take Starks over Peyton all day? Yeah, me too. I mean, Starks is like tier 3, and Peyton's maybe like high tier 3. I mean, Starks is definitely better than Peyton, but Shrimp is definitely better than Oakley. You know, it's just a... I forgot to get back. I paid the price. Definitely a preference thing, and that's why these matchups are, you know, definitely worth exploring. Tom saying, the Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying, you have to know how to use the magic. If you aren't patient to find open threes with Hardaway and Anderson, you'll lose. I see what you mean. But you have to know how to use the magic. I would say that then you have to know how to play the game, you know. And when we make these tiers, we try to keep all, you know, most variables in check. And if a team has a certain potential, if you have 2 fast 3-ballers on a team, that's super significant. And Forrest Grant, definitely a tier 1 player. He's not fast. He's like a 6 on speed, but he's got that 9 power and 9 block, and that's tier 1 quality. You know what I'm saying? I would say for the Knicks, you have to know how to use them too. You know, they might, now that you mentioned it, maybe they are a little bit more easy to use. People don't care that you know, Oakley is slow. Like I care because I can't cover the court. But that is a good point. So we're gonna try to get some stuff done with Terry Mills here coming off the bench. We'll put Dumars as our drone, and you know, we see what we can get done. Let's see what we can get done with Coleman on the bench. A Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying you need 3/4 of Grant. I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about different matchups. Like, what would it be like? What would it be like against the Rockets? What would it be like against the you know, the Spurs? What would it be like against the Hornets? You know, it's a little different for each of those teams. I just think they're a great collection of players, the Magic are. And yeah, if you just play to their strengths, then you're going to have a lot of success. And you know, how do you play to their strengths? Well, like, that's kind of what I'm trying to depict in the series here. Like, what are the things you need to worry about? What are the things you don't need to worry about? They were able to stop my fire there. Pesky little dudes. Kevin Edwards, he's short, but he's got power. He can play some good D. I just like pulling up for that 3-pointer. When those short guys are on you like that, they can't really get in your bubble to you know, block the shot. He did get the rebound though. Oh, where was Dumars? Come on, man. You're an all-star, dude. I do like that corner 3. It doesn't always go in, but you know. Terry Mills with that 6-on 3-pointer, man. He can give you some success. Oh, Nice put in by Anderson. He was slippery. I couldn't get him. Wrapping. Oh, slippery.
At the buzzer. Yeah.
Dumar's slipping it in there. Yeah, I do think that with the Magic, you do got to play balance because there are other teams in Tier 1 that have more power than they do. Yeah, all the teams above them basically have 2 power guys, and so Grant's got to hold his own. But man, Nick Anderson definitely a Tier 1 player, and he's just really well balanced. And I think and he's a big reason why I put the Magic in Tier 1. Dumar is done for the day. 11 injuries. Thank you, buddy. We're gonna go Mills Miller. That tandem with the identical attributes, and we're gonna wrap up this game against the Nets here. Terry Mills too much for Derek Coleman. From the corner. Oh, he doesn't get it, but I want a 3. Sometimes you want to throw those elbows. You get that rebound under the hoop, and you just want to, instead of going right for the, for the dunk immediately, you kind of press a direction and the turbo button, and they'll throw their elbows, and that can be really effective to clear them out, so you have an uncontested dunk. See you, Dumars. That's right, man. I honestly, when you're playing competitively with the Pistons, they are not a sexy team, but Dumars is really just your punching bag. Unless he comes fresh off the bench and you really need some threes, he's just poor dude. Like the other day for funsies, I was looking at some basketball cards online, like circa NBA Jam, and Dumars was in the subset of like all NBA first team, because he was an all-star, like I said, and it's like, what do you mean Dumars is all NBA first team? He sucks in Jam. So he was able to give me some threes, but I gave up a lot of points on defense, and if I'm playing competitively, I just don't want to give up those points. I want to get the inside points with Mills and Miller, and brick layups and all that. Actually tried to throw some elbows there, but sometimes the computer gets a little bit of a boost. Like, look at them whipping around. They get that boost in the fourth quarter, and you really got to watch out for them. No good.
Pistons win the game.
Yeah, Joe Dumars was a good player. Jam-wise, not so much. It's too bad. Short players that they make short in the game, obviously have a big disadvantage on defense. But if you give them a steal attribute and a high 3 attribute, they're usable. Dumars only a 7 on threes, low on steal. It's not going to give you much. So that's the Tier 4 Detroit Pistons. It really is about Mills and Miller. And, this would be a big mismatch. Nets, I think they're like maybe 7th best team overall in the game. Definitely high Tier 2. And the Pistons just at the top of Tier 4 there. So, Detroit Pistons. We'll see you later. Pistons, if you beat the game with all the teams and you unlock the rosters, Grant Hill is a player you get. And I would say he's almost a Tier 2 player, probably Tier 2 player, Grant Hill. So if the Pistons had Hill instead of Dumars, they would rise in the rankings, definitely at least Tier 3. But he was on the rookie squad, so they didn't have him on the original rosters. So we go from Detroit basketball. Mark Trammell's was a fan of Detroit. And we go to Chicago for the next team, the second team in Tier 4, sorry.
Welcome to
Um,
NBA Jam.
You know, people sometimes wonder, like, why wasn't Michael Jordan on the Bulls in this game? And the answer is, he was retired. For original NBA Jam, he couldn't be in it because of licensing, but in this version, which is basically takes into account the rosters at the beginning of the 1994 to 95 NBA season, he wasn't on the Bulls. You had Ron Harper in there, maybe some Steve Kerr, and you got these guys. Scottie Pippen, obviously a Hall of Famer, great player. In this game, I put him at Tier 2, maybe mid-Tier 2. He's got that 8 speed, but only 3 power. Really holds him back. Bulls low power overall. That's what puts them in Tier 4. But Scottie, very good offensive player. He's got that inside presence with the 9 dunk and then the 6 on 3-pointers, which is serviceable, especially if you're on fire. On defense, and a good defender as well. 9 on steal. You combine that with the 8 speed, and he's a pretty pesky defender. And then 5 on block, so he's, can guard the rim moderately. Pippen would be a very, very good player if he even was like a 5 on power. He would be Tier 1, in my opinion. But that 3 power, it really holds him back from doing some of the things he would want to do. Then we got Kukoc, who's he's got some fun attributes, but overall, I would say I'd put him in like tier. What do we got here? Kukoc, I'd put him in Tier 3. I'd say 6 speed, 4 power, not terrible, but it also doesn't give you a whole lot. Offense has got that 6 threes, which is serviceable, but only a 2 on dunk, so he doesn't have that inside presence. But then he's a very good defensive player, has some of the best defensive rankings, really, with that 7 steal, 7 block. So you're not going to get many defenders that are actually ranked higher than him. Rodman has a 7 steal, 9 block, and who else we got? Anderson has an 8 steal, 6 block, and those are really the only guys that you're going to find that have like as good a defense of attributes as Kukoc. But the thing is, he only has that 4 power, and that 6 speed holds him back. So the double 7s on D is nice, but it's not as effective as you would want it to be. Then we got B.J. Armstrong, who was B.J. Armstrong was, he had an All-Star appearance in the 90s, I believe. But they don't give him great attributes, just like Dumars. And Moore, Tecmo 101, saying, wasn't this closer to the end of Dumars' career? You're right, Moore, but he was an All-Star in 93, 94. In fact, I think he made the All-NBA first team. So it might have been the end of his career, but it was a decision for whatever reason to not give him the attributes, that he probably deserved. Like, if there was someone else better on the team, like I think Lindsey Hunter would have been on the team at this point. It's like, put that guy in, you know what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas would have been a 9 power in his prime, steals high. Thomas was, he did retire, and that's why he's not in this version. And Lambeer actually retired in either the 93 or 94 season. So those guys from the original NBA Jam Detroit team, Gonzo, it's in with the new blood, Terry Mills and Oliver Miller, apparently. B.J. Armstrong, he's got high speed with that 8, but no power. Really tough to play defense with a 0 power player, even if they are fast. 9 threes is excellent, obviously, elite. 0 on dunk, no inside game. And then on defense, he's only a 4 on steal, and 0 block. And again, if you have a fast point guard, you want him to have a high steal, as I showed, like Muggsy Bogues, Mark Price, John Stockton, those guys. Like that, then they're a decent drone. But if they only have 4 steals, it's like that's only so much. So BJ, I would say, is like tier 3. Yeah, BJ and Kukoc, I put them at tier 3. Armstrong, not good attributes, but that 8 speed, 9 on threes is something you can do with if needed. So for the first half, I'm going to do some BJ Kukoc, and kind of like I was doing with Dumar's last game, I'm going to try to get some threes with BJ, or maybe some offensive rebound points. Second half, I'm going to go Pippen ball, and we're going to see what we can do with the great Scottie Pippen. BJ with 2 rebounds off the bat, but can't get the putback. Rattling home the in Retro Sports Game where Tom's saying Isaiah Thomas was a point guard, so he wouldn't be 9 on power. Ooh, nice D by BJ. Ferocious, just ferocious. And we got a hot BJ. He's on fire. Oh, missed the push. I didn't go for the block because I wasn't confident getting a block even with BJ. But you see Mark Price just wrecking me, man. He's got that speed and he's got that steal. So even though he doesn't have power on a 0 power guy like me, Price can do some damage. But can't get over my jump shot. Tom's saying he wouldn't be 9 on power. You know what? I think about Kevin Edwards in this game and from the Nets and why he given 9 power. He was a shooting guard. Kenny Anderson was their point guard, I believe. Derek Coleman, the power forward. And dunking on Kukoc, those 7 attributes don't really help him out in that situation. But so why was Kevin Edwards given a 9 on power? I'm assuming it was a mistake, but maybe it's something that the developers did consider giving 9s to guards. I don't know. More Tegma 101 saying he was a beast on defense. I disagree with how most point guards, shooting guards get low power ratings. I see what you're saying. It's probably them wanting to give the big dunkers a lot of power so they can, don't get shoved off the ball and can land those exciting dunks, which is kind of the impetus of the entire game, NBA Jam. Tegma 101 more saying if you look at the physical nature of the era, fighting through screens, incidental contact in the paint, and more. That's a great point. I mean, the game was more physical. None of this kind of ticky-tack NBA nowadays. It's exciting to see teams rail 3-pointers, but it is a very different game than back in the day. And even as a guard, you did need some power. When I think of a powerful guard in today's game, I think of Kawhi Leonard. Obviously a great player, but he really imposes his will in the lane. Sometimes for what, I mean, watching the series against the Bucks, from a Bucks fan's perspective, it looks like it was kind of offensive fouls. Sometimes he would just throw an elbow in there. But superstars, gonna get some calls their way, and that's fine. Giannis definitely gets that nod all the time. But I definitely noticed a power in Kawhi Leonard's game for sure. It's not just finesse. He'll hit the hard shots and all that, but he also is formidable. Tony getting that defense going. Um, so when you get on fire, you do get a power boost. I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but for players like BJ who have a 0 power rating, all of a sudden it's a lot easier to land pushes. He doesn't always make them give up the ball when it's pushing them on fire, but it is a lot easier to land those. Ooh, getting elbowed off the ball. Come on, Kukoc, save me. Can't do it. Kukoc, love him as a player. He just not a fantastic NBA Jam player, in my opinion. Oh, tried to elbow me off the ball. BJ can't be denied. Through both Cavaliers. Ooh, get that out. House of the BJ, get it out. BJ doing some good work. Tony chipping in on defense. Tecmo Mort 101 saying maybe 9 is high, but honestly, there are a few guys that era that could not play in a tough physical environment. That's true. Justin DS Blackburn, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. We're playing some NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo, doing a playthrough. Right now I'm with the Bulls here, who I put as a tier 4 team. No MJ and a weak-powered Pippen. But what about the Bucks? You'd call me a bandwagon Bucks fan. I grew up watching them a lot of games back in the day, and we're talking Glenn Robinson, Ray Allen years, even a little before that with Vin Baker, and those were exciting years. Sometimes they made the playoffs, most of the time they didn't, and they never made a deep run. They had that deep run in 2001 with the Big Three, Sam Cassell, but it's fun now that they're relevant again. The series with the Raptors was obviously a heartbreaker, but Raptors proved that they're a great team. So Bucks were lucky enough to get those 2 wins from them. You know what I'm saying? Bucks were potentially a Giannis double overtime foul out away from going to the NBA championship. So who knows? It's tough to get to the championship, and it's really special when you get it done. So I'm going in with Pippen here. Most of the time, Pippen in Bulls, in matchups with the Bulls in this game, Pippen a lot of times will be the best player on the court. So you really have to make the most of that. He can't do everything, but he is fast, has high steals. When he gets on fire, he should knock down threes. So Bulls really are about Pippen in this game, and then BJ giving you some threes from the perimeter. So I'm just going to try to go hog wild here with Pippen. Trying to, Michael Jordan was retired when this game was made. This is, before his comeback. His first comeback, I should say. So Pippen trying to prove himself. Oh, Mark Price. And that was a purposeful goaltend. I do that if I'm trying to get on fire. In this version of the game, in all versions of Jam, 3 buckets will get you on fire. But in this version, if you goaltend, they count it as if the other team didn't score. So it keeps your chain afloat. So I always recommend if you made a shot and you're trying to get on fire, go ahead and goaltend the other team's shot. Like, you give them the points, but you get to continue your chain of fire. And I'm looking at the Cavs here, and look how fast they are. Sometimes the computer will get a bit of a boost. I don't know what causes that, but sometimes they get a lot faster, and maybe it's a clutch thing. I don't know. But they'll play better offense. They'll play better defense. Let's go, Pippen. One more shot. Missed it. we're beating up the Cavs pretty good. Cavs also not a great team. We'll view them a little bit later in Tier 4. They just don't got much going on. So this would be a fair matchup if you're playing it competitively in a tournament. I would take the Bulls. I just think they have more to offer. But if someone likes the Cavs, Brad Daugherty is a decent player. As he or somebody, bricks the dunk. Wilkins is a 9 on block, so he will potentially get some blocks. He doesn't have a lot of power though, so he's still not very formidable under the hoop. And Pippen has a really high dunk rating, so he'll probably land most dunks anyway. Oh, but there's Wilkins with that 9 block.
From the outside.
And one. Pippen, the Hall of Famer, just railing that 3. And I'm patient with Pippen there, kind of letting the Cavs come up the court there, but then just as I try to make progress, just kind of hitting them back and getting the ball. Oh, Pippen can't pick it up. And when you're going for blocks on fire, you really just want to wait under the hoop, like literally under the rim, and or just slap it away like that. When you're on fire in this version of the game, it should be like a 10-point swing, honestly. You should be able to rail those 3s. You should, it won't be that easy to push over a user opponent. And that was an auto jump. I would to jump there. It got me out of position so that they scored on me. Sometimes the game will make you jump. But yeah, when you're on fire, you should play patient and dunking on my face. That hurt, but I still spanked him. What's up, Ed P? Welcome to the stream. We're gonna play through NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo. We're in Tier 4. Got about 7 more teams to beat before we beat the game. I was just beating up on the Cavs with the Bulls there. Can you play this online? As far as I know, there's not a way to play Jam online. I know other people play NHL 94 online on Super Nintendo, so there's got to be a way to do it. They're just no one has made it happen yet, as far as I know. That's a project I consider, maybe next year figuring that out. I got some tournaments that I'm preparing for this year. In this version of the game, NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo, there's a tournament in Toronto in September that some of my buddies and I are going to, and so we're getting prepped for that. But next year, that is something I would like to potentially figure out, how to play some Jam online, because I think there would be a draw for it, and it's just something that someone's got to step in and make happen. So we got that 19th win. San Antonio is next. San Antonio is one of the best teams in this game, top 3. I would put them at number 3. Some people might say they're the best or the second best, but next we are playing with the Mavericks, who are actually the first team in the sequence of the playthrough of this game. The Mavericks are the first team you play. In fact, they're the first team in NBA Jam Tournament Edition and NBA Jam Original on console. So the developers must have thought they were just really bad. But what the Mavericks have going for them in this version of the game is Jamal Mashburn is one of the best players in the game. Definitely a Tier 1 player. I put him in actually the S tier, which is like the top 5 to 7 guys in the game. Jamal Mashburn is there. You look at his attributes, he's got a 8 speed, 8 power, and that's just incredible. You can do so much with that. On top of that, he's got an 8 3-pointer, so that he's not an automatic three-baller, but if he's open and you have the right release and you do it from a good spot, he'll be pretty consistent on the threes. And so we're going to lean on Mashburn in this game. Great offensive player. It's also 7 on dunks. Defense, not as impressive with the 3 steal, 6 block, but the 8 speed, 8 power, that is where his defense comes from. He can cover the field, cover the court, and that 8 power, he's going to knock a lot of people off the ball. And so then we have Jackson. I put him at about a tier 3 player. That 8 speed, 5 power is pretty decent, but he just doesn't have much besides that. Offense, 6 threes, so he can give you some threes, but only 1 on dunk. He doesn't have that inside game. And then on defense, 5 steal, 3 blocks, so he's not all that impressive, especially with the 5 power. He's just not a great defensive player. But then we go to Terry Davis. My friends and I affectionately refer to him as POS because he's just so bad. 1 on speed and 1 on 3-pointers. It's like, come on, man, what are you doing? Why are you in this game? I'm sure he was a decent player in real life, but it's just really puzzling why you would choose a player for this game from Dallas, and then give him that bad attributes. But that's neither here nor there. 4 on power is not very good. And then on offense, 3 on dunks. So he's kind of the big player for Dallas. They got Mashburn's the shooter, despite him having a lot of power. Jackson's kind of like the mid guy with some speed, and then Davis just really doesn't give you much. He is okay on defense, 5 steals, 7 blocks, but with that low power and that super low speed, it's just like he's just not going to give you a whole heck of a lot. And so that's what kind of puts the Mavericks in tier 4, despite them having one of the best players in the game, in Mashburn. So we're going to lock in Mashburn Davis. We're going to play mash ball and try to rack up a big score against the Spurs, which will be hard to do. We're going to rest Davis in the second quarter. Third period, let's bust up some Terry Davis and see what we can get done.
Wild shot. Yeah.
Spurs definitely one of the best defensive teams. You don't want to do what I just did and go for a highfalutin dunk into a double contested Rodman and Robinson. I believe Rodman is 9 on blocks and Robinson is 8, and so that's one of the deadliest duos. So you want to be careful about going in there.
Wild shot. Yeah.
We're just gonna try to get so many threes with the Mashburn. Nice steal by Davis.
He's on fire.
I like to go. My main spot for threes is that above the break on top. But if I got Mashburn, I don't have to rely on that. I can go to the corner.
Yeah.
I can go to the other side and 1. Count it for Mashburn. And I'm doing that. Woo!
Yeah.
About to say I'm doing that. That purposeful goaltend to keep my chain going, but Robinson just took that away. Robinson, a very good player, definitely tier 1. And Spurs playing that D-ball. Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying mash ball can be real. I agree. I think he's obviously one of the best players in the game. Top 3, maybe 2. And you know, if I'm going to do a world record run, the Mavericks are honestly one of the teams I would consider playing as, just because of Mashburn, just because he can do everything.
At the buzzer.
You know, we got a 34-point lead in one quarter. You know, cheers. Gonna open up a beer. That was ridiculous. You're at Green Majik Tap. We're drinking beers. Cracking open a Pipeworks, a Chicago brewery, unofficial beer sponsor. This should be a good one. So I was laying down the smack on Rodman and Robinson. You know, this is a huge mismatch. Mavericks Spurs. You would not want to do this matchup in a tournament. Spurs are so good, but you know, computer obviously not a human opponent. So Mashburn was really able to throw his weight around, sending Rodman to the bench. And Robinson's going to be not fleet of foot with his 12 injuries. So, you know, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully Elliott's got something up his sleeve, because here comes Mashburn. Mashburn missing the three. Oh! Mashburn missing the three from the corner. He does look slow. He feels slow. He's no longer 8 on speed, I'll tell you that. But here goes on the breakaway.
Heating up.
Robinson, despite his 12 injuries, you know, I can't push him over.
From the outside.
Clearing out the lane, getting that dunk under the hoop. That's how Mashburn does it. Bricking a three from the corner, though.
Elbow.
Woo! Trying to force it inside is Mashburn.
He's on fire. From the outside.
Kind of forcing those corner threes. They're not as automatic as the money spot right there. I consider that the money spot as far as threes go. I don't know why that is, but our midway buddies loved above the break, whatever you call that area. Woo! Elliott playing some big D. Robinson dunking it on me. Elliott has stepped it up in the second period. I'll tell you what, I haven't been able to just completely dominate.
Heating up.
Rattles it home. Mashburn.
At the buzzer. Elbow.
Boom. So that was Mash Ball. Up by 57 on the computer. We're gonna give Terry Davis his due in the second half. We're gonna go Davis Mashburn. Fourth period, we're gonna go Davis Jackson, and we're gonna see if Terry Davis can be better than a POS. Mort saying, legal disclaimer, all beer on channel consumed by responsible adults over 21 years old. NLJC Retro Sports Camera. This is actually lemonade. I was kidding. I was just trying to sound like a big boy. That's spicy. All right, let's go Davis. Davis Mashburn. Mashburn not going to be super fast with those 3 injuries, but he still should be a good drone with that power. Come on, Terry. Let's go, buddy. 1 on speed. Step back 3 for Terry.
He's on fire.
Rails it. Terry on Rodman. He's got that. What is it? 4 power. Thank you very much, says Terry. Man, he's slow. 1 on speed, Terry Davis. Nice rainbow by Terry Davis. Terry Davis is heating up. He's feeling it. Oh, Terry Davis, come on. Dennis Rodman bricking 2 dunks in a row. Terry Davis is on fire. Didn't do me any good. Rodman blowing by me. Rodman definitely in the S tier in this game. He's got speed. He's got power. He's got hella defensive attributes. He's tough to knock down. He's tough to tough to get a hold of. And his hair is beautiful. So you see the way I'm pushing him. I push him and then I wait to push again to let my turbo kind of charge up. And you do that because sometimes when you push them, they get right back up. And if you don't have a lot of turbo, then they could get up and keep going. Or get up and elbow you, and that's no good. Terry, is he fast enough to get back? He is. Tecmo 101 Mort saying, Mike's Hard Lemonade. Serious drinking on some of the alcohol contents they have. The drunk jam sessions coming too. Man, that would be some fun videos. I can't get too sloshed because I got to represent. I got to show the people the good moves. And there's plenty of drunken gamer videos out there. Some of them on this channel. There's a time and a place, but trying to keep these. If I get too loose, then the computer gets the best of me, like that play right there, and I just can't have that. You know what I'm saying? That's just embarrassing. Rodman and Robinson, though, they are the original 2 towers. And they're coming for me because I have no mash burn. And look how fast they are. Terry pulling up for the 3. Oh, getting blocked by the Rodman. Terry Davis takes flight. Ooh, nice screen set up by David Robinson. If you saw that, he had his body in front of Rodman so that Rodman got the clean shot off. Sometimes the computer just makes a great play as if it was like programmed or something. Rodman trying to get another shot. Can't. Because Terry Davis is here.
The rebound.
Terry Davis bricking 3s, even though he's on fire. Nice screen by Jackson, letting me get the rebound. Terry Davis can't buy a 3, even on fire. He's just that bad, folks. Sometimes you just got to go for the dunk because your player is that bad. Oh, hook shot. Terry is there. Terry is there. Swishing 3s is Terry Davis. Give me that ball, says Terry Davis.
At the buzzer.
Woo! Trays it over me.
Win the game.
Not a bad blowout, 92 points. Mavericks not a good team in this game. But Jamal Mashburn is for real. So if you choose the I almost said choose the Mashburns. If you choose the Mavericks in this version of the game, you really got to get a lot out of Mashburn. Jackson not going to give you a whole lot. Terry Davis is going to give you almost nothing. So it really is. Yeah, that was a complete beatdown. I agree. But you know, Spurs fought hard. I just fought harder. Check my 101 Mort saying he's got respect for guys that can play better with 10 beers. Back when I drank after 3 beers, I was too loose to bring my A game. That's true, man. That's true for me, I should say. If I'm playing in a tournament, I really gotta it's fun to get loose with that 1 beer, but that 1 beer it makes me tired, and I don't bring my A game, and then I get my butt kicked. So if I'm playing in a tournament, I try to keep the drinking towards the end, but that's not what everyone wants to do, and that's fine. You just gotta find what works for you when you're playing in that tournament. So we're clipping through Tier 4 here. Next is the Indiana Pacers. I would definitely say the Pacers are one of the more overrated teams in the NBA Jam Tournament editions. In real life, Reggie Miller, great player, Hall of Famer for sure. In this version of the game, he's a 2-tier player. Yeah, I said that right. Tier 2 player. He's got that 7-speed, 4 power, which isn't bad. Obviously going to have that 9 3-point rating. So that's a good combo, 7-speed and 9 3-pointer. But that 4 power does hold him back. 5 on dunk, so at least he can go inside. Defense, not spectacular with a 5 steal, 4 block, especially again with the 4 power. He's just not all that easy to play defense with. 7 speed is nice, but so you can be traying threes with him, but the other team is going to counter pretty easily. Rick Smits, it's nice he's got that 8 power, but that 2 speed, man, it makes it kind of difficult to play defense with him as well. Terrible offensive player, 2 on threes, 4 on dunks. That he's nice that he's got that 8 on block, but the 1 steal, doesn't give you much there. Then we go to Derek McKee. Really pretty terrible in this version of the game. He really holds the Pacers back. Miller Smith's not a bad combo, but McKee just gives them nothing. I think he's a little bit better in the Genesis version, but for whatever reason in this version, they only give him a 3-speed, 6 power, and that sets him back. Not good on offense with a 2 threes, 6 dunk, and then not even great on defense with the 4 steal, 4 block. So Derek McKee, a Tier 5 player, just like Terry Davis in this version of the game, and he really holds the Pacers down, and that's why they're the middle of Tier 4, kind of like the 21st maybe. 21st overall team out of 27. You wish they were better, but they're not. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start some Smits, McKee. I'm going to try to hit the other guys hard in the first period. I'm going to sub me out some Smits. No, I'm not. I'm going to sub me out some McKee, and it's going to be the Reggie Miller game in the second period. And hopefully Smits can hold it down as my drone, and Miller can rail some threes. So we'll see how that goes. Here you go, Tom. Here's the Tier 1, quote-unquote, Knicks. Let's see what they got. Let's see if they belong in Tier 1. And Smits, he's got that power, but he's just not fast enough to cover the court. And if you can't get from one side of the 3-point arc to the other in a timely fashion, it's hard for me to play D. But here we are on fire. Let's see if Smits, with his low 3-point rating, can hit any threes, let's let's keep him with the short shots in the key there. And Smits, even with his 8 power ranking, he still can't hit or connect with opponents all the time. And I do think it's just harder to line it up because of the speed. His lack of speed, I should say. So far, Rick Smits just taking over this game. Just popping threes like his name is Reggie. Ewing looking really slow, but he takes the move to the basket. McKee chipping in on defense. The tier 5 McKee. Oh, Oakley just waiting at the top of the key for me. Nice move by Ewing. I tried to give him. Oh, I tried to give Ewing space and then close in on him, but Ewing just an elite tier 1 player. But Ricky Smits doesn't care. He really doesn't.
At the buzzer, heating up.
At the buzzer, but there's still a second left. Rick. So there's 2 points for the tier 1 Knicks. In competitive play, that is a killer combo, Ewing and Oakley with that power. Oakley feeling a little beat up, gonna take a break on the bench. Here comes Starks with the speed and the threes. Definitely something you have to account for. But I got speed and threes for my guy too. So let's see.
Stolen.
And Reggie just feels really fast after I was playing with Smits for a quarter. Oh, Smits, nice block. And I put myself in a tough spot because I ran out of turbo. So I wasn't able to defend him from the corner there. Tom's saying Knicks are going to come back in this quarter. We'll see about that. Looking good for Johnny Starks. He is a high dunk rating for a guard. He's got those threes and the dunk. And he's formidable. And is fresh off the bench, so he is fast. Ewing getting Starks open. And I was actually trying to go for a goaltend there. But I was able to get the rebound, so that was nice. So Reggie, he's missing a lot of threes. I mean, he'll make them now that I'm on fire. But that's why the Pacers get so overrated because, you know, they got the name in Reggie, but he's not even automatic with the threes. Like, he'll make some of them, but it's not automatic. So it's like, what really do the Pacers have? If Miller doesn't have his 3 game going, then, you know, what do the Pacers got? Not really much at all, unfortunately. But Reggie can hit him from way down when he's on fire. Ooh, nice team D there. I think it was Reggie got that block, so that was nice. He's not going to get you many of those. But he's got enough speed. I was able to get back in time and defend the hoop with that 4 block, outdoing Starks' 7 dunk rating. So Oakley going to take a rest. Ewing taking a rest. Here comes Oakley, the slow, lumbering Oakley. Starks should also be slow because of the 11 injury. So this is really a quarter I should beat up on the Knicks. Let's see what happens. Reggie feeling a little slow, rattling in the three-pointer. He's getting that fire going. Reggie checking out the corner, just making sure that, you know, everything's going okay. He's checking out the other corner. Everything seems to be all right from there as well. Top of the key. Let's see how that. Still looking good. From the scorers table, everything is checking out all right. Bottom corner. Wasn't feeling good for Reggie. Reggie likes that spot. He likes that above the break over there. Oh, nice team D again by the Pacers. McKee wide open, waiting for that three-pointer on top, but I'm not going to give it to him. My name's Reggie Miller. Oh, swinging a biff by Starks. And Oakley, despite being slow, he's a little tough for me to push sometimes because he has that high power.
Intercepted.
He's got that 9 power. It can be hard for a player like Reggie. I think he's got a 5 on power. It can be hard to connect on those. And Tecmo 101 more saying the Knicks just need to start fronting and stunting, and you know that's why they are saving Patrick Ewing for the 4. Ooh, there's a front and a stunt. Knicks closing the gap to 70. Yeah, Knicks are hapless without Retro Sports Gamer Tom at the helm. It's true. I think what it was is the Knicks didn't come in with the confidence that only Tom can give them. We're going to do some Miller Smiths for this last period. Going to try to get 30 points to beat the Knicks by 100. I don't think it's going to happen because Ewing is fresh. And Reggie just not enough power. Oh, there we go. Reggie just not enough power to knock these guys off the ball consistently. I'm just missing pushes all over the place. Come on, Smits, get that rebound for me, buddy. And getting some rebounds with Reggie, so that's nice.
Wild shot.
And that was an auto jump. Those are frustrating when those happen. You know, you're gonna miss 3 sometimes. That happens. But ooh, nice offensive play by Oakley. Shook me off with the elbows. That's why you really got to give the other player space until you're ready to come in with the push, because they can hit you with those elbows, and then it's out of your control whether they make the shot or not at that point, because you're just on the ground. Oakley shaking me off with those bows. Reggie with a wild shot is good. Reggie stroking it as he's known to do. Time running out. I don't think I'll get my 100 burger.
2 points.
Reggie just getting beat, man. You saw me try to push him under the hoop. And I couldn't do it. And that can be frustrating with players like Reggie. It's like you got the 3-point ability, but on defense, you just can't connect those pushes. Tom saying I can play with 10 regular beers, not 10 craft beers. Yeah, dude, those craft beers will knock you out. I'll tell you what, they pack an IPA punch. This is some good stuff. This unofficial beer sponsor, and Mort was quoting Walt Frazier when he said the Knicks need to start fronting and stunting. So Pacers, not a good team, tier 4. They just don't got much, man. You could call them a balanced team, but they just don't have any elite set of attributes to make them really competitive. So you definitely wouldn't want to go up against the Knicks or any team like that with the Pacers. Definitely belong there in tier 4. Next team we got is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Originally, I ranked the T-Wolves pretty low. They just didn't have attributes that impressed me. I mean, Isaiah Ryder is a great player in this version of the game. I don't really remember him being a great player in real life. I think he had some good years with the T-Wolves, or with the Blazers, I mean. But he has some great attributes. 9 speed, 6 power is really nice. That's a great default. And then 9 on dunks. So that speed and dunks, he can really threaten the hoop at any given time. And the 9 on dunks means he can start his dunk animation from very far out from the hoop. So that speed and dunk is really tough to stop, especially if you don't have like an elite blocker. He's a really good scorer, can hit some threes with the 4 on 3-pointers, especially if he gets on fire. That's going to come in handy. Defense, just kind of straightforward, 5 steal, 5 block. So he's not a great defensive player, but he's still good, especially in tier 4. He's probably going to be the best player on the court, unless you're coming up against a Mashburn, and a Pippen is right there as well. But Ryder definitely needs to shine with the T-Wolves. Next we go to Ed West. I would put him as a tier 3 player. He doesn't have many great attributes, but that 9 on 3-pointers is really significant. The 5 speed isn't great, but if he's open, which, especially with people paying attention to Ryder, if West gets open, he will give you some threes, and so that's really nice. Low power though, so that's tough to play some defense on. What's up, Terry Bogert? I see you in the chat. He says, I remember Reggie Miller gave Spike Lee the choke sign. I forgot about that. I forgot that the Pacers-Knicks was kind of a thing. Man, you gotta love that 90s attitude, man. It was a different league in a lot of ways, and I feel like that's part of it, is especially some of the personalities represented in this game. Alonzo Mourning, Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, like you're saying. Like, these guys really had... they really were good basketball players, and they really brought a lot of personality and fun to the game. Dennis Rodman, man, there's no one that comes close to Dennis Rodman in today's game, as exciting as it is to watch. But we got Doug West, not a great defensive player, especially with that 3 power. So I put him at tier 3 because he is consistent with the 3-pointers. But then we got Christian Laettner. My boy DPS loves him some Christian Laettner. I do not. Nothing against him personally. He's just a trash player in this game. Tier 5, guaranteed. 5 speed, 4 power isn't ridiculously bad, but he's got nothing really to offer on top of that. 6 threes is okay, but he doesn't have the speed really to get open for on dunk. Not particularly good. Kind of abysmal for a taller player. So he should be the power guy. If you got West as the shooter, you got Ryder as kind of the fast slasher to the hoop with the dunks. Leitner should be the power guy, but he's not. He's just a void. 6 blocks is okay, 3 steals is not. He really is the liability on this team. I am going to pretend that he's a power player. He's going to be my drone, and I'm going to try to rail some threes with Dougie West. And here we're coming up against a real team, the Blazers. More Tecmo 101 saying, I guess he is the basketball American and black version of Don Cherry. Oh, you're talking about Rodman? Man, Cliff Robinson getting some points. Sometimes with those guys with medium speed, like West, you can kind of, and already Leitner's getting pushed around, you can kind of just create your own open shot like that. So that's nice, but it is just tough to play D, especially a guy against a Cliff Robinson who's got 6 speed, 9 power. Ooh, I tried to shake off Drexler, but I couldn't do it. I guess I didn't have enough power. Drexler takes it coast to coast. And Drexler really is getting the best of me. Drexler, a Hall of Famer, I believe, but also in this game, a Tier 2 player. He's really got some nice attributes, and I'm having a hard time keeping him under wraps. He's just all up in my business. Cliff Robinson, definitely a Tier 1 player with that 6 speed, 9, maybe it's 5 speed, 9 power. And look at Clyde, he's just all over the place. Step back 3 for Dougie Doug. Mr. West. Wake up, Mr. West! Christian chipping in. Clyde just fast, man. Woo! Cliff makes me pull up a chair. Yeah, I'm trying to get open with some Doug West. Not terribly fast. I'm saving my Isaiah Ryder, my star power for the second half. Trying to get the most out of Christian Leitner, putting him as my drone. You don't want to use Christian too much at all. He's not going to give you much. I'll tell you what, unless you're DPS and you're a legend at this game, Leitner is not going to give you much. Tecmo 101 more, leaving a link, clydesofly.com. I'll have to check that out later. Better not be foreign. Terry Bogard. Yeah, talking about that choke sign. The choke sign was great. Man, you had to have some attitude. It's just like, at the end of the day, yeah, they're getting paid millions of dollars, but it is kind of a kid's game. You know what I'm saying? It's a playground game, and have some fun. You know what I'm saying? And even though a choke sign isn't like too lighthearted, it is that kind of like I don't know. It is kind of whimsical. I'll tell you what. Someone on the Bucks needed to give Drake a choke sign when they were playing the Raptors, but the Bucks just got too much class for that. Can you, as intense as Giannis likes to appear after a big slam dunk, I can't imagine him singling anyone out and telling him what's up. Doug West. Oh, Christian Leitner! Bricks it. I knew he was going to, but I had to show the people. I had to show you how bad he is. Give me the ball, Christian. Come on, man. Ah. That was actually some decent drone D by Christian on that. Christian can't land the dunk either. On that last play, he kind of got in front of Cliff's face, and nope. And that's all Christian Laettner is good for, really. You know, you drive to the hoop, and your three baller gets open in the corner, and he bricks it. Let's try that again. You know, setting up the play. Ooh, dunking on both our faces. Mr. West rattles it home. So I'm only beating him by 20, but I'm saving my Isaiah for the second period, for the second half. Doug West with 10 3-pointers. Not bad, buddy. Not bad. The Blazers are a real team, y'all. They're in Tier 2. Extremely balanced. Cliff Robinson, Tier 1. Drexler and Porter, Tier 2. They're no joke. But here comes Isaiah. Let's see if they can hang with him. I'm going to try to get as many dunks as I can with Isaiah. Even though I'm used to... Woo! 0 for 1 on dunks for Isaiah. Come on, man. I just told the people about you. Let's try that again. Free throw line. Not quite free throw line. Monster Jam. Cliff Robinson can block some of those, but he didn't. Oh, Cliff playing tough D. He's got that Tier 1 ability. Woo! Spin him a doobie. Oh, come on, Isaiah. That is not a Monster Jam. Get that out of the house of Isaiah. Ooh, Cliff pushing me off the ball. Nice little layup there. Ooh, Terry splitting the defenders, but Isaiah is there. Over the shoulder. Oh, Terry Porter. He is a real defender, y'all. He may be short. Ooh. And apparently he can play offense, too. I'd say getting some slam jam dunks. We're gonna put in some Christian and hope he holds his own on D. Clyde coming in fresh off the bench, you know he's gonna be fast, so it's gonna be tough to contain him. But if I keep going for dunks like that with Isaiah, I should be all right, except trying to... It's not as hard to pick up the ball off the ground, you know what I'm saying? Woo! I like those dunks right there. They practically dunk from the three-point line.
stolen.
Woo! These guys with 9 on dunks, they really have a wide attack range, and it is fun to see that. Man, they keep knocking me off the ball though. What's up, Matt? I see there was a comment about me drinking. Don't mind if I do. Dude, beer and video games, man, it's like, it's a match made in heaven, man. Like, if I'm screaming some video games on my futon here, why would I not have a beer in my hand? You know what I'm saying? Why would I do that to myself? So Matt Stanky, also known as Lumberjack Cracks, has his own series on this channel, Late Night with Lumberjack Cracks, where he plays various games into the night. And I'm just dunking with Isaiah Ryder. Little Spider-Man. We call that the Spider-Man. What's up, Terry Bogert saying, do NBA Streets. I've never played that. I feel like we have a video of that on this channel. Matt, maybe you can correct me on that. NBA Streets. I feel like that's an EA game, but it's not really part of the live series. We play a lot more arcade, like Midway games. Matt's saying Thomas played it, so Terry, maybe that's something you're able to check out on the channel under the video. Just search NBA Streets. EA Big, says Matt, which I'm sure is related to EA Sports in one way or another. Isaiah Ryder getting the triple-double with that 10 blocks. Good job, buddy. And now we move on to the last team in Tier 4. So we've done Pistons, Bulls, Mavs, Pacers, T-Wolves today. Last team in Tier 4 is the Cleveland Cavs. They really just don't have much to offer. We got Brad Daugherty. I put him in, let's see where I got him. I think Tier 3. Daugherty I put Tier 3, and Price I put Tier 3, and then Wilkins Tier 4. But altogether, it just they just don't have a lot going on. Price, I would say, is their best player with the 8-speed, 9 3-point combination. 2 power is low, but it's not terrible for a point guard. 0 dunk, but that's okay. He doesn't have to worry about that. 9 steal, that means he's a pretty decent drone. And also you will get some steals, especially if you get on fire with him. 0 block, that's okay, buddy. We don't hold it against you. Brad Daugherty, not a terrible player. Tier 3, like I said, 7 speed, 6 power. Only 3 on 3-pointers, but he does have a nice inside presence with that 8 dunk. Defense, 7 block, and 3 steal. So not a dominant player, but very usable. Gerald Wilkins, 6 speed, 6 power. Pretty decent for baseline stats on offense. His 3-pointers, 5 dunk, so not very good. Defense, what he does have to offer is his blocks. He's just not dominant because his power is only 6 and 2 steal. So I'm going to follow the pattern of trying to rail some threes with the little guys. So we'll see how that goes up. We're going up against the Jazz, who are a very good team. Tecmo 101 Mort saying, all in good humor. Hopefully you and the girlfriend stop by. we got a new gamer couple for you to compete against in N64 games. That would be funny. He's talking about Demon Tap, where they always got N64 games going. A lot of times there's some like some Mario Kart or some Smash Brothers 64. Great multiplayer games. Personally, I love me some Blitz. I wish more people were into some 2-on-2 Blitz because I'm always game for that. That's one of my favorite fave games on 64. But yeah, man. Woo! Oh, I got him with the drop push, but I couldn't get him with the answer. Price just rattling it home there. Oh, look at that D by that defense by Karl Malone. His hands were out. Oh, and the block. Price just having a really hard time doing anything really. He is not a great player, but he does have that 3-point attribute. Those short guys, man, it's really tough to do the things on defense. So even though it's nice they can rail threes like that, it's just like if you can't play D, then Carl, what you doing, man? What you doing? He's giving me space.
Rebound.
I'm able to push him one time, but with 2 power, it's just you can only do so much, especially against like Malone is a dominant player. Not quite an S tier, but definitely tier 1. Terry Bogert saying NBA Ballards. That sounds exciting. Matt saying gamer couple, I'll destroy them single-handedly. Man, that defeats the purpose. You got to be playing with your partner, man. That's why they call it co-op. Matt saying we have not streamed the NBA Ballers yet, Terry. That can happen. RSG has. All right, that sounds pretty exciting. Not sure what console that's for, but that sounds pretty dang neat. We're going to go with some Price Darty, try to get some more of those threes. As you see, Malone has 0 injuries despite getting pushed around a lot. He just got that high power. And Cavs have a couple guys with that medium power, but lacking elite power is just, tough, man. This is embarrassing. Jazz really taking it to the Cavs, man. Jazz, a tier 2 team in this version of the game. Ooh, nice block by Doherty. This is definitely a mismatch, but Price still going to do some things. Still going to let him know about it. Ooh, Carl just with the elbows, making room. But Marky Price, Marky Mark. You just can't play D. Need I say it again?
From downtown.
And Hornacek, despite being a tier 5 player, is able to get past Darty. Price slaps it off the rim. Price playing some tough D. But the Jazz, man, the Jazz just get it done. Cavs just not a good defensive team. Price will get you those threes, though. I just wanted one dunk with Marky Price before he hit the showers and one block. More check my 101 saying they are cool, bro. Play GoldenEye 64 Mario Kart. John is even in the RSL with some good RBI baseball form. Yeah, I saw that there was a John that was gaming last night. That's cool. You appreciate the new blood. You know, people that want to play games, even if it's casually. Like sometimes we're getting ready for tournaments with these games. We take them a little too seriously sometimes, maybe. But you know, we welcome the casual gamer. These games can be fun, just you know, playing lightheartedly too. I enjoy me some those games that were mentioned for sure. GoldenEye, and I have great memories of that game. It was always intense doing the missions. You know, especially if you're going for a time trial. It was always intense because you had to take some bullets to the chest. You had to do it. And you had to be efficient with your own shooting. Man, Karl Malone all over the place. Despite having played a full half, he's guarding the hoop. But I'm on fire. I'm Gerald Wilkins, man. Missed my push. That was embarrassing. You try not to let the guy get behind you and have a straight run to the hoop like that. But if you do accidentally, sometimes you can get behind them and you know, and still get a push on them. But I wasn't able to. Gerald Wilkins 9 on block rating. I thought maybe I could block some Malone on that, but Malone just too dominant. Stockton too slippery.
Rebound. Heating up. Hello.
I thought that might happen. As you can see, with the player with elite power like Malone, sometimes you just gotta push them, and they still don't give up the ball. And that's why teams with lower power or even just medium power, you know, Doherty, well, I was Wilkins, 6 power. That is just not enough, you know, to do all the things that you want to do. But we're going into the fourth quarter, and Stockton and Hornacek, they don't got power, that's for sure. So let's see what we can do. And Stockton a little bit beat up from that third quarter, so he shouldn't be quite as fast as normal. Definitely part of what makes him dangerous is that speed. Ooh, Hornacek with the fake. And ooh, Stockton with the 0 dunk rating, slamming it home. I was gonna get on fire. The Jazz, man, playing above their attributes. Making it tough for me to get back on fire.
Heating up.
It's kind of a lazy shot there. I just ripped it up, but you know, Stockton too short. Not not able to get the rebound. Now is on fire. Trying to work those corners. Sometimes they work for the threes. They're not my first option for a three, but they are a good option. Stockton with the power. He's 0 on power. He's 0 on dunks, but he's dunking on fools. Hornacek, just a trash player. Sorry, not in real life. He was an all-star one year, but definitely tier 5 in this version of the game. He's not fast. He's got a 3-point rating, but just doesn't give you much. Mark Price with the last shot, but Stockton gets the rebound. So that's the Cavs for you. Not much sexy there. Price does have the speed and 3-point rating, but he's tough to play defense with. Darty's got some decent attributes, but he's not able to keep up quite with the elite players. Gerald Wilkins has some blocking attribute, but not a whole lot else. So Cavaliers, very bottom of tier 4, which brings us to tier 5. There's only 4 teams left in this playthrough. So we're going to hit tier 5, and then we are going to maybe have some conclusive thoughts about this version of the game. And that'll be it for the 3 videos on this game. So tier 5, these teams are usable, but they have such strong weaknesses that they can be very frustrating to use, even if you're playing to their strengths. Because even the worst teams in the game have strengths, but their weaknesses are just all over the place. Tom, Retro Sports Gamer, saying Hornacek deserves better. You're probably right, but you could say he got snubbed. That would be a fun list to make. Top 10 snubs of NBA Jam Tournament Edition. That'd be a little challenging to do, because you would have to take their career up to that point. Like, what was their career like? Especially, what was their 1993-94 season like? Which is primarily what these attributes are based off of. And do the attributes in the game reflect whatever they accomplished that year? So for the Bucks, tier 5 team, I wish they were better. Talk about deserves better, man. I wish my Milwaukee Bucks were given more. They do have one very good player, Eric Murdoch. How good was he in real life? Probably not fantastic, but he's given an 8 speed, 5 power, which is definitely decent. On top of that, he's got the 8 3-pointer. So he's not Jamal Mashburn, who has 8 speed, 8 power, 8 3, but he does have the 8 speed, 8 3-pointer, and decent power. So he won't be shoving around the elite players, but especially in tier 4 and tier 5, he can get some things done. Other than that, he doesn't have great attributes. 3 on dunk, so he's not very formidable going inside. Then on defense, 4 on steal, and 1 on block. So he's not overly oppressive on defense, but that 8 speed, 5 power is decent for this tier for sure. Talk about deserves better. Vin Baker had at least a couple all-star appearances in his career. I think one was with the Bucks, one was with the Sonics, and not given great attributes in his game, especially the 2 power. Thomas saying you've been waiting so long to do this, team. That's right, man. This is my squad right here. I'm calling it in Toronto for the championship. Is gonna be mirror match, Bucks versus Bucks. So y'all listen up if you want to be in the championship in Toronto. So you gotta know this Bucks team. So Vin Baker has got 7 speed. That's nice. The 2 power really holds him back. You want him to be the power guy, right? Like he's got that 7 dunk, 9 block. 2 power really holds him back. 4 on 3s, so that's serviceable, but you don't want him popping too much. If he does get on fire, he can hit some. And then he's got 2 steals, so he's not too pesky of a drone, but under the hoop he will get you some blocks. So I'm usually when I'm the Bucks, my users are Eric Murdoch and Todd Day. And Baker's the drone, but sometimes it is nice to pull off Baker off the bench with that 7 speed, can kind of whip around a little bit. Todd Day, just even Steven down the middle of the line. Let's see what I got him ranked at. Probably tier 4. Yeah, I got Baker and Murdoch tier 4. Or sorry, Baker and Day tier 4, Murdoch tier 2. You can really get a lot done with Murdoch. But Todd Day, man, 6 and 4 for the base attributes. Not terrible, but not too formidable. Only okay on offense, only okay on defense. So for tier 5, he's not a bad player. He just even for tier 5 though, you want a little bit more out of your players. So let's go Murdoch Day. Even though Day only has a 4 power, it's still a little more than Baker's. And Baker's with 2 power, he's just not going to give you many. He's just not going to lay many drone injuries down. Nice pass by Day. Day to the corner. Murdoch missing his first 3. That's not a good look. Missing his first rebound attempt. That's not a good look. Missing his first block attempt. Also not a good look. So Murdoch gonna try to get some 3s on Shawn Kemp, the Hall of Famer. Not starting good for the Bucks. Murdoch missing 3s all over the place. He's gonna have to get some tougher points, I guess, if he's not as consistent on the 3s as I want him to be. Woo! Murdoch, not doing it, but I'm gonna be stubborn. I'm gonna keep popping those 3s with Murdoch. Ooh, Day getting the drone steal. And that's what you hope with a Todd Day. You stick him at the drone. You hope he gets some steals like that. Murdoch, even being on fire, he doesn't quite have the power to really mess with Kemp. Kemp, definitely tier 1 player. He's got the speed power dunks. I think he's even a 6 on 3s maybe. So he's got all the goods. Bucks would never want to go up against the Sonics. We're not heating up after so many missed 3s. Maybe I just hadn't found my spot. I don't know. Here's to Murdoch. That's good. Kemp sending him to the bench. See, Murdoch being a 5 power isn't great, obviously, But when I'm pushing Kemp, he is accruing injuries, and you know that's key. Unlike when I was the last game when I was playing the Jazz and Karl Malone, I was pushing him with Price, who's a 2-power, and it wasn't giving him any injuries. So yeah, Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying the Bucks have all tall players, so that's good. That's true. I don't get too scared of you know, teams with shorter players like because they can still be decent drones, and that's something, you know. Like if one of the Bucks guys was short, but he had good attributes, like I would take that. And sometimes height doesn't help you. Like you will be jumping for a ball, you know, say trying to block a shot or something, and they jump up and do the squiggly hands, and I think they do that if you have a really low block attribute. So even if you're short, or I mean, if you're tall, doesn't mean you can automatically do all the things that you'd want to do. Ooh, really quick shot by Peyton. That was a Hall of Fame shot right there. Now I was getting on fire too, so they, you know, nice play there. Murdoch gonna keep shooting threes, even if he's not on fire, because he just got that tier. He's got that tier 2 skill set. And he's just gonna rail it from the outside. You know what I'm saying? Baker to Murdoch in the corner. From the outside. And Buck's just taking full advantage of Shawn Kemp not being on the court. Even though Shrimp is a good tier 2 player, well, maybe bottom tier 2, Peyton top of tier 3, they're not bad. Sonics really are about Shawn Kemp and his high tier 1 abilities. And with him off the court, Murdoch just able to go hog wild. So I'm probably not going to have as much success in the third period, especially Shrimp's power, along with Kemp, is really a lot to go up against. I'm just going to do what I can. So with the high power there, you know, I'm pushing Shrimp and he's not giving up the ball. It's a really formidable duo, Kemp and Shrimp. Todd Day is not Eric Murdoch, and he shows it. That was a weird animation. Oh, Todd Day blocking the 9 dunk, Shawn Kemp, and then beats him on the coast to coast. Ooh. I tried to get in there with a little push. Kemp was ready for me, shoved me off the ball, and nice little elite drop push, I call it. Those are hard to pull off, but they're very effective if you can do it. You got a high attribute dunker like Kemp. He's probably going to land the dunk on you. So I like to do the drop push, which catches him. And here comes Kemp, man. He's got his Hall of Fame roll going on. I try to catch him right as they're about to get to the hoop. whipping Bonnie with that speed. There, and I got another one. It's tough to do, but it's nice when you can pull it off. Hit them right before they get to the hoop there, and you know, obviously you stop them from getting their dunk, but also hopefully give them an injury as well. It's a very effective way of stopping their attack. You know, if you can pull it off. But Kemp doesn't care. He's going to go back to the hole and just make it happen. Todd Dizzle. We got a 60 burger on the Sonic so far. What's up, Mark Bauer? It's good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the stream, the Retro Sports Gamer channel. We're playing some NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo. We're doing a full playthrough of the game, and I'm pretty far into it. Sonics are the fourth to the last team. And I'm using all the teams in the game as I progress. So Bucks, I put them in Tier 5, or the lowest tier category of team. And that's why I'm using them. Going up against the classic Sonics, which is a tall task. I love me some Jam as well. That's why we got this series going on, Jam Rules with Green Majik. That's me. Doing this stream because I love the game, but also it's kind of helping me prepare for a tournament in Toronto in September. It's King of 94 is the tournament. In Toronto, they have tournaments of both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis versions of NHL 94. And something they're doing new this year is they are doing adding an NBA Jam Tournament Edition tournaments as well. So that should be really cool. Playing on your phone, that's cool. Whenever I'm hanging out with my nephews, they're always like, "You got games on your phone?" I'm like, "No." But I do play some Tecmo Super Bowl with one of my nephews whenever we hang out. And it's not bad. For a 7-year-old, he's pretty decent.
For two, rejected. Score.
The glove playing some good D on me.
He's on fire.
Eric Murdoch. We got to get a name for Murdoch, man.
He's on fire. Rejected.
Tough D by the Bucks under the hoop. Shawn Kemp slams it home.
Bucks win the game.
There's a smackdown of the Sonics with the Bucks. Bucks not a very good team, but Eric Murdoch does give you some opportunities. 28 three-pointers. Ooh, getting the triple-double with the 11 blocks and 34 steals. Mark Bauer was saying I have that on my Sega Genesis, all the old school Maddens. That's cool, man. I was playing some John Madden football today on Super Nintendo. The world record on twingalaxies.com is like 47 or something, and I was able to get like 59, so I'm going to submit that, and maybe in 9 months it'll be approved and I'll have a world record. So yeah, man, the old Genesis and Super Nintendo had some good Madden games. Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying, you guys having a jam session on Thursday? I think so. I think in the evening we're going to get together, play some jam, some NHL, get ready for these tourneys, maybe do some world record runs. We'll see let's see what we're into. I think GPS and I can obliterate the world record. We'll shoot for 200. We'll take the Hornets and we'll just make it ugly. So hopefully we're able to do that Thursday. The guys like to play NHL 94 on Genesis a lot. It's a great game, but we need some more practice on Super Nintendo, NHL 94. We played a lot of Genesis, and I think we gotta get some practice in the other one. We got just a few more teams left, which means we have the 3 worst teams to play as. We got 2 teams from LA and 1 team from Philly. It's time to go to LA with the Los Angeles Clippers. Pooh Richardson, good player in real life, as far as I know. Not given fantastic ratings in this game, but he does have the 8-speed 8 threes, which is something. And then he's got the 2 power. 2 dunks, but that's okay. Decent at defense with the 6s. And so he's a decent drone. Roberts, his attributes are a little different than the Genesis. I think he's an 8-speed 5 power in Genesis, and for some reason he's a 1-speed 9 power in this version of the game, which makes a little more sense for a big guy. But 9 power is great. 1 speed makes it hard for him to whip around. Offense, not a whole lot with the 4 3-pointers, 3 dunks. And, Roberts could maybe be in bottom of tier 3. Who I'd put middle or upper tier 3. And then we got Malik Sealy, rest in peace, no longer with us. Put him as a tier 4 player. 6-speed 5 power, not terrible, but he doesn't have a whole lot to offer besides that. Tier 5, he's not going to get pushed around too much, thankfully. 7 dunk, he's going to get some points inside. On defense, not terribly great, but he will get some blocks for you. So I'm thinking I'm going to go Sealy Roberts. Let's start that out. Let's bring Pooh in the second period and try to get some threes with him. We're playing the Suns, pretty decent team in this version of the game. I put them high tier 3. In the Genesis version, they are not nearly as good. They, even though they have the 3-point attributes, it is really hard to hit threes in the Genesis version of the game. And so all these attributes that they have are kind of for naught. But in the Super Nintendo version, 3-pointers are definitely more makeable. Nice rebound by Roberts there. Definitely more makeable, which makes their attributes, very legitimate. But they still don't have a lot of power though, and so I am going to be able to push them around a little bit, maybe a lot bit, especially Kevin Johnson, multiple All-Star in the NBA, but in this version of the game, just not given very much, not given his due. And Malik Sealy, despite not being on fire, is just going to chuck up a 3 and make it. Stanley Roberts doing some work as my drone, and that's why I had put him as my drone for the first period. Just to have him rough up the other guys, my opponents. And then let Sealy, with the moderate offensive attributes, get some stuff done. Suns need to step it up. They're missing Barkley right about now. I'll tell you what. Barkley not in this version of the game because of licensing. He was in Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam, and there goes the shutout. So he couldn't be in this game. He is in some versions of the original NBA Jam, and not in others. So if the Suns had Barkley in this version of the game, say instead of Kevin Johnson, who is tier 4, doesn't really give you much at all. Ooh, nice block the last second by Manning. If the Suns had Barkley instead of KJ, it'd definitely be tier 2. Very formidable. If he had Barkley and 2 3-point shooters in Manning and Marley, good stuff. Which is, of course, what they wanted to try to do when they picked up Manning beginning of the 94-95 season. They picked up Danny Manning, but he got hurt pretty soon into the season, and he wasn't really able to be the presence that they wanted him to be. So we're gonna give the United had such success with Sealy in that first period that I'm going to rest him and bring him into the third period. And let's see if Pooh can do some things. He doesn't have that power. You see Marley just like barely leaning back when he gets hit. KJ could cough up the ball, though. He has no power. That's embarrassing, and that's what the short players will do for you sometimes, or rather not do. They have a really tough time slapping the ball off the rim. Like, you can time it. It's just really hard to do. Ooh, nice user block by Stanley. He's been a decent drone for me, helping me do some things. Ooh. Didn't time that well. And, that's going to cost me. I didn't time that dunk well. It got defended. And now I got to try to get back on fire. Pooh just bringing it with the layup. I'm going to be a little more careful this time with how I drive into the paint there. Ooh, he does have that 8-on-3. He will give you some threes. From the corner, through Marley's fingers. There it is again. I was on fire, but I just could not do it with the Pooh. And things like that are, why the Clippers are in Tier 5. I rank them as one of the 3 worst teams in the game. Pooh Richardson, their best player, just is not a complete defensive player. And I'm going to go ahead and... I gave it to Stanley there at the end to get those 2 points, but then I didn't get back on D for the goaltend, and they paid the price. So 53-point lead. We should definitely be able to get to 100. Here comes Malik. Manning's going to be a little faster coming off the bench, but I was able to take it to him in that first period, and so that gives me confidence that I'll be able to do what I need to in the third period as well. Now we're on fire. It's time for some 3 balls. Ooh, quick little move by Manning. I was trying to play some patient D, but sometimes they just put the moves on you like that. Steely showing some power, able to push both guys over. I was conceding the court and afraid that they were going to make an inside move on me. Oh, Marley almost getting me with a double team. Nice D by the Suns. KJ nowhere to be found. I mean, Pooh. Oh, Manning pitching up. There's. Sealy just working it. Nice play by Pooh with the drone steal. Second shot. I wasn't feeling confident, but it went in. Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying the Clippers fell off from original jam to TE. Original jam, they had Ron Harper and Danny Manning, I believe. But in the Genesis version of the game, I don't even think attributes mean all that much. I would have to look at their attributes in the Super Nintendo version. I think Ron Harper is pretty decent. Manning does get a big boost, I would say, from original jam to TE. I think he had just had an all-star year with the Clippers, and he's given some really good attributes. I'm taking it to him though. Now we got our A squad in Sealy and Roberts. Roberts is gonna bring that big power. Sealy is gonna bring the offensive finesse. Woo. Stanley, the nice drone steal. KJ was about to pull up for the jumper, but Stanley said no. So despite him being one on speed, Stanley Roberts. We got a 90-point blowout. Let's just keep it going. Stanley Roberts with the user, or with the drone. Ooh, but I couldn't get the goaltending. Stanley Roberts with a nice drone steal there. Sometimes when I'm playing D, I can notice it's a little harder to push than normal. I was getting that with Malik, and obviously tough to play some D when they can't push. So not surprised KJ was able to get me there. We almost got our 100 burger. Let's see if we can get maybe some 110. End of the fourth quarter, the computer, usually has a bit of a push. I'm missing fire, threes on fire and so forth. There I am missing it again. So it is tough to rack up those points late in the fourth. It also seems like the speed of the computer players kind of increase in the fourth period. I'm not sure how much that affects like human versus human competition.
At the buzzer, Clippers win the game.
So we got a 108 blowout. Not bad. No world record, but not terrible. Good for the Clippers. I was just able to do that because the Suns just no power to speak of, Neckman 101 Mort saying, all downhill, logo and name-wise, after you were the Buffalo Braves. Yeah, that's a pretty good. It's a pretty good name. Clippers definitely not a franchise with a lot of um, success over the years. I mean, I guess they did have some playoff years with Pooh and Manning and Harper back in the day, but you don't really think of them as a franchise with having a lot of success. Um, we got 2 more teams left. Worst teams in the game, according to Green Majik. We're going to go to the East Coast to Philadelphia. The 76ers not quite as bad in the Super Nintendo, in the Genesis version of the game, because that game is so heavy on pushing and that sort of thing. And they're able to, they're bottom of tier 4. They're able to do some things, not a whole lot. But in this version of the game where speed is key, obviously power is key, and 3-ball will go a long way, the Sixers, man, they just don't got much. We got Weatherspoon is a decent player. I put him at tier 2. That 5 speed, 8 power is nice, especially in tier 4 and 5. Okay offense and decent on defense. He's got that 8 block. 'Cause that's one thing that the 76ers do have. Weatherspoon with the 8 block and Bradley with the 9 block. Unfortunately, Bradley's only 5 on power, and even worse, it's 3 on speed. So he's just not. Bradley's just not very formidable defender, especially. Yeah, I put him at tier 4. Bradley, he's got that dunk in the blocks, but without the speed and the power, it's just not that formidable. Certainly not going to be shooting 3-pointers. And then we got some Jeff Malone, definitely a tier 5 player. No elite attributes to speak of. 6 on speed, 2 on power. That's not a good start. 5 on threes, 5 on dunks. So he has okay offensive attributes. He just doesn't have the speed to make use of those. And then 5 steal, 5 blocks. So he's Mr. 5. We got 5 threes, 5 dunks, 5 steals, 5 blocks. So Jeff just not giving you much at all. It really is, if you are going to be the Sixers, you really need to make the most out of Clarence Weatherspoon. Because he is a good player. He just doesn't have much help at all. So we're going to go into battle against the Bulls. We played with them earlier. They're at the top of tier 4. This actually isn't a terrible matchup for the Sixers because the Bulls don't have any power, and at least the Sixers do have Weatherspoon with that 8 power. So I should be able to take him to him pretty hard. I wouldn't want this matchup in any sort of actual competition. The Bulls just, with their BJ with the speed and threes, and then Pippen with the speed, dunks, and steals is just, that's some stuff. They got some things to work with that the Sixers don't. Pippen trying to shot put it in there with the Spider-Man, and he couldn't do it. Weatherspoon just doing the spoon things. Pippen trying to post up. That actually was an interesting play. Pippen got into the key there, kicked it out, and I just know he was going to try to push me over. But I didn't let him do it. I was ready. See, Bradley just too slow. Can't stop BJ. BJ, despite having not great attributes, really is a pesky drone. You've got to be aware of him. Oh, Bradley. Bradley doing some things. Just didn't feel like picking up the ball, unfortunately. Pippen just jumping into me. Oh, and sometimes you get that. I go to push the first guy, and BJ 0 on dunk. Dunking on Bradley, who's a 9 on block. That's going to happen sometimes when you're playing the computer. Sometimes the computer just wants to score, and that's fair. I was beating him down pretty bad, but BJ propelling his team to the 4 points. Retro Sports Gamer Tom saying they could have used Moses Malone. Dang straight, Moses Malone, MVP in the early 80s, I believe, for the Sixers, and they won the championship. They just don't got nobody in this era. Clarence trying to do it all. I take it back. So one of the players you get after you beat all the teams, the 76ers get Dana Barros, who's not terrible, and they get Sharon Wright. I put Barros and Wright at tier 4 in this game, but Dana Barros was an all-star, and I think it was 94-95. So the season that was happening as this game came out. The Sixers did have an all-star, so for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I guess you could say the Sixers have the wrong Malone. They got Jeff Malone, but they needed some Moses. And here comes Kukoc. Mr. Double 7 on defense himself. Let's see if he can have any success stopping Clarence. The spoon. Clarence just fast enough, I should say. Getting out to Pippen, trying to do this step back jumper. Pippen is fast, but he was not able to close the gap on him. Pippen pushing me off the ball. Moses, there's no way you're going to shoot that. We're playing hero ball, baby. Pippen, let's see if you can block this, buddy. They do. I was talking smack. Get that out of my schlouse. You saw Pippen raise up. He thought about passing it, but he's like, nah, let's go for it. And not in the house of Clarence. Y'all, the Sixers really are about Clarence Weatherspoon. If you can do some things with him, then sure, maybe you can be the Sixers in a tier 5 matchup. But ooh, Kukoc burning Jeffrey Malone to the hoop. It really is the Clarence show. He's got that speed and power. Ooh, and he's got that block. Not quite enough to get around Pippen on that play. Pippen really zipping around despite having some injuries. Give me the ball, says Clarence. Ooh, power dunk Kukoc over the Weatherspoon.
At the buzzer.
Oh, that's clutch, baby. Mort also saying they had a star player in Buffalo, Bob McAdoo. I am familiar with that name. I know he's a Hall of Famer for sure. So Malone was MVP in '75. I remember when Moses Malone, that is, was on the Bucks. he played in the first live NBA game I saw. It was Bucks Pistons. Pistons won in overtime, and the Bucks had Moses Malone. He was like their leading scorer, even though it was towards the end of his career. He was still able to do some things. And Mort's saying he played for the Lake Show later for 2 titles. So Moses Malone, one of the players that retired a little bit before this game came out. We got a solid first half there. Oh, McAdoo was MVP in '75. My bad. Maybe Malone was the '80s. So I actually took 0 injuries that whole quarter. Weatherspoon has taken 0 injuries for the whole first half. The Bulls just don't got power. You know, they got Pippen, they got Armstrong, they got Kukoc, but they just don't got power, and that's what puts them at tier 4.
Heating up. He's on fire. Yeah. Wild shot. He's on fire.
And BJ was slippery there.
Yeah. 2 points.
Nice drone by Jeffrey. Drone block by Jeffrey Malone.
He's on fire. 2 points.
With that 8 power, Clarence has a nice reach. Not able to get all the shoves, but I'm able to attack them in the backcourt pretty effectively. 5 speed, not elite, but it's enough. So Clarence really able to do some things in this tier 5, but just doesn't have a lot of help. Tony Kukoc, he may have 7 blocks, he may have 7 steals, but I had to work for that one, man. Man, BJ just schooling me to the hoop, but I'm on fire, man. Sorry about it.
At the buzzer.
Rattles at home. More Tecmo 101 saying George Gervin, the Iceman. He was still playing, I think. A stud on the Spurs. No one remembers. You're saying he was still playing when Jam came out? More saying great players in the 80s, but not the same media coverage. That's true. I remember like first collecting basketball cards in the early 90s. You know, you get those like 1990, 91 sets, and they had a lot of guys that I just, despite watching some basketball, had never heard of them, you know? That doesn't mean they weren't good players, they just like maybe didn't have that media attention behind them like you're talking about. It's like if someone wasn't an all-star, then they wouldn't be a household name, even though they may have been like a really important player for their team.
Count it.
Shout out to you, Vernon Bimbo Coles. I remember every time I got a card of him, I was like, really? Your name is Bimbo? The chase down. Pippen. I thought about doing the drop push on Pippen there, but I was like, you know what? I'm 8 on block. Oh, Pippen
Rebound.
just elbowing me off the ball. Pippen really fast, coming fresh off the bench. I really got to watch out for him. By watch out, I mean just shove him onto the hardwood. So we got the Bulls by 104 here. We could have a world record on our hands. Nothing official, obviously. I didn't show the booting up of the system. But world record's 125, and especially if Clarence doesn't hit those fire threes, we're not going to get it. But world record's 125. Ooh. Sean Bradley chipping in with the block. Man, Pippen's so slippery. I didn't think I was going to land that block, but I thought I would try. Bradley's like, I'm open on the perimeter. Give me the ball, Clarence. And I'm like, heck no. Look how fast Pippen is. I'm a little freaked out. Oh!
Heating up.
Missing the drop push. Look at Pippen get in there.
At the buzzer.
Nice layup, Clarence.
Sixers win the game.
So 112, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Dusted off the Bulls. That means there's one team left in the playthrough. It's the Rockets. Rockets won the championship both in 93, 94, and 94, 95. Hakeem the Dream, and all that jazz. So they're the last team in the playthrough. One of the best teams in the game. I would say they're second best. Some people would say they're the best. That's a healthy argument to have.
Welcome to NBA Jam.
What's up, D-Dubs124? Welcome to the chat, to this stream. Sixers 112-point beatdown. That's right, man. Sixers not a good team. Bulls below average team. But Bulls no power, man. I was just able to. I played Clarence Weatherspoon the whole game, and I just took him to school. What more can I say? Mort saying Gervin retired in 90. Moses Malone retired in 95. I see that. So I'm not sure what team Malone finished with, but I know he had at least a season or two with the Bucks in the early 90s there. After Malone, the Bucks didn't have a good center until for the whole 90s basically. Irvin Johnson, I don't know if you can call him a good center, but that's who they had in 2001 when they were relevant. D-Dubs 124. So I'm doing a full playthrough of this game, NBA Jam T on Super Nintendo. I'm playing all the teams, obviously, playing as all the teams, and so far I've played with all the teams but one. And that is the Los Angeles Lakers. I consider them the worst team in the game. They're just really bad. So I'm going to play as the Lakers against the Rockets. We got some Vlade Divac. He's a fun player. 3 speed, 6 power. 5 3, 7 dunks. Decent on offense. Decent on defense. 4 steals, 7 blocks. It's all about the beard. He has one awesome grizzle. What tier do I put in Vlade? Vlade's tier 4. So is Peeler. He's got that 8 speed that's nice, but that 0 power, he's going to get pushed around. Then he's got 7 on 3 though. And so that is a nice pairing. That 8 speed, 7 threes for Peeler, but without the 0 power, it is really hard to play D, especially because it's a 4 steal and 2 block. So Peeler's got some attributes. but he just doesn't have power, and that makes it really tough. Mort's saying Malone was on the 76ers in 94. We went back to the Sixers, all right. Bucks 93 and Spurs 95. So he jumped around. He wasn't ready yet to quit. And why would you quit when you're making $1 million for being a third string center on a team? Nick Van Exel, good player in real life, not quite given the attributes in this game. 7 speed, 4 power. So okay on offense, okay on defense, but he is a shorter player, and that makes it hard to do a lot of the things you want to do with him. So I'm gonna go Divock Peeler. Rest Peeler in the second period, bring him out in the third, try to rail some threes. D-Dubs 124 saying, 1995 TE writes, that's when Magic left in 92 already, and Lakers didn't have any till 96. That's right, this is the pre-Kobe Lakers. They do have James Worthy is one of the unlockable characters, or one of the unlockable players with the Lakers. When you beat all the teams. And so is Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones is on the rookie squad in this game, and he goes to the Lakers after you beat all the teams. Jones, given decent attributes in this game, and he'd actually be an improvement over pretty much any of these players here. I would personally sub him for Van Exel. What is Worthy? I'm going to take a look. Ooh, getting over Divock. Actually, Worthy and Jones, I put them both at tier 3. So either player would be an improvement over the Lakers' whole squad. And that's a little puzzling. It's like, why give teams a base base roster, not their best players? I don't know, but that's what the developers did. Ooh, Vlade getting the rebound over those Rockets, but can't get the putback. Nice little helicopter slide by Divock. Oh, he's on fire. Oh, he's going hook shots, Vlade. Ooh. Olajuwon using that speed, even though I was on fire. Olajuwon with that nice speed, able to get to the hole before me. Ah, dang! I thought I waited long enough so that I could get the free goaltend, but I didn't. Yeah, Lakers pretty terrible in this game, but it's okay. Obviously, they were a dynasty in the 80s, would be a dynasty in the early 2000s with Kobe, Shaq, and some other people, some Rice, some Fisher, all those cats, and some Rick Fox. But, this was just a lull. And, the LA teams are just really bad in this version of the game. I played with the Clippers 2 games ago. Witherspoon's good, but as a team, not great. Vladdy's just going to pull up for the 3. Maybe I'll try to get as many rebounds as I can with Vladdy. Yeah, so that's a fun joke. It's like, why did the developers want the LA teams to be so bad? I don't know. That's just kind of how it worked out. No one wants the ball. Vlade doesn't want it. Thorpe doesn't want it. Corey doesn't want it. Oh yeah, Robert Horry. Speaking of the Lakers. I was trying to get that rebound. Couldn't get it.
Stolen. Yeah.
Vlade says, "Give me the ball, please."
Heating up.
Oh, and one. Count it. Vlade, the Grizzle Man himself. That Grizzle looks pretty light on the stream there, but I swear sometimes it's a thick, dark beard. Maybe it... barely gets the shot off. Vlade with the clutch. I don't know. Vlade's a fun player. He's not good in this game. Lakers are terrible. But he's just a try-hard for me, you know. Lakers getting the best of the Rockets. But here comes Hakeem the Dream. I'm going to go Peeler, Van Exel. Rest me some Vlade. Bring him into the fourth period. I'm going to try to get some step-back threes with Peeler. Olajuwon, and oops-a-daisy. Olajuwon, an excellent defender. Excellent everything in this game. Except for maybe three-pointers. But... oh.
Ugly shot.
Weird animation there. Ooh, off-screen shove for the Peeler. Nice screen by Van Exel. Oh. Peeler, zero power. Oh, trying to defend the rim.
Wild shot.
Get that out of there. Oh, count it, and one for Anthony Peeler. Tough to play D with that Peel skis, zero power.
Wild shot.
But he can rail him some threes off the glass. Peeler getting those goaltenders, trying to get on fire. Olajuwon going to get that rebound over me every time. Oh! I wasn't careful. I tried to get around Olajuwon. Oh, look at him go!
Ugly shot.
Olajuwon was so fast. We got one more quarter in this playthrough. Lakers on Rockets. We got some Vlade. We got some Peeler. We got Olajuwon, still zero injuries. That's not good. If I was, doing my best strategy for this matchup, I would have made sure Divac was on the court whenever Olajuwon was, so that whenever I oops-a-daisy, Vlade says, get that out of my house. So that whenever I was able to push Olajuwon, it would make sure to accrue an injury. Instead, with Peeler, I pushed Olajuwon a lot, but he didn't accrue any injuries. So we have a fresh Olajuwon going into the fourth, and that's not something you want. Olajuwon, definitely tier 1. I put him... Whoa! That wasn't even a real shot. What are you doing, Vlade? We're going to shoot that from half court just because we can, Vlade Divac. Olajuwon, definitely S tier. I put him top, maybe not top 5, but potentially top 5. He just doesn't have the 3 ball, but he has everything else. So, but Robert Horry also a tier 1 player. Otis Thorpe maybe tier 2. Vlade says I'm tier 1.
From downtown. Intercepted. Lakers
50-point blowout. And that's your LA Lakers. Not a lot to smile about. Vlade Divac, I like him as a jammer. But Lakers, tough team to play with. Mort in the chat is pretty good with the Lakers. He likes them. You know, if you like a squad, go for it. Just don't overreach, I would say. Lakers definitely belong in tier 5. They're really going to struggle against those tier 4 teams and above. Let's let these credits roll. Shut them out in second and fourth period. Not bad, not bad. So that concludes this playthrough, NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo. One of my favorite video games of all time. Very tournament-ready game. There is a tournament in Toronto this September that some of my Chicago buddies, you saw some in the chat, Tecmo 101 Mort, Retro Sports Gamer Tom, DPS, who's also on this channel a lot. We'll be going out to Toronto, playing this game in the tournament. I think we're going to have a podium sweep. I think we're going to get first to third place, but that's not a promise. Also, we're going to be playing some NHL 94 on both Super Nintendo and Genesis in Toronto. So this is just a great game by Midway and Acclaim. I think it's got a lot of depth. Because there are different ways to score. The 3 ball can go down. Some fantastic dunks you can land. Dunks aren't automatic. They can be contested, but they are a great way to score. And then on defense, it relies on the push game a lot, but there is strategy that you can use there as well on how to defend your opponents as they get into your side of the court. So I think this game has a lot of depth. Like I said, early in the second video of this game, I broke down some specific strategy points. I talked about when you're on offense how important it is to get down the court without getting pushed. Sounds basic, but you don't want to have those turnovers. You want to treat possessions as precious. When you're shooting a 3 ball, you want to be open as much as possible. You want to release at the top of your jump, and you want to do it from advantageous spots. And you'll see those spots in this playthrough, that there are some spots that are a lot more successful than others. You know, it's really about that between the break and the top, whatever that area is called, and the corners, get some success. You want to punish them with the threes, and then on defense, you want to do your best to like not waste your turbo. You want to not let them get past you on a break to the hoop. You want to conserve that turbo, make the most of those pushes. So, fantastic game. I appreciate everyone who watched and who is in the chat. I'm going to continue this series, Jam Rules with Green Majik, with NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Sega Genesis, which is also a tournament-ready game. It looks similar, plays, it has some significant differences. It's very fun, but it does play differently. Also a tournament-ready game, though. We will be playing that in Toronto as well. We'll also be playing that for Tecmo Jam Cleveland in November, and we're talking about the Genesis version of NBA Jam Tournament Edition. But I think this version is spectacular. I had a lot of fun with this playthrough. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Thanks, Mort. I see you saying great show, bro. I hope people are able to watch these videos, get some tips, and just have fun watching it, relive those nostalgic 90s teams. And, maybe we can build the competitive scene of Jam as the years go on. Maybe even next year get some online play. I don't know, sky's the limit. So thanks for watching, everybody. We should have more good videos coming up soon on the Retro Sports Camera channel, so make sure to subscribe and check in regularly for the good stuff we got going on. Y'all have a good night.